There is a moment many men carry quietly inside themselves for years, long before it ever arrives. A moment they don't always talk about, but feel deeply. A moment that lives somewhere between anticipation and fear. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what that moment is truly like for a man? Not the version shown in movies, not the version discussed casually among friends, but the real, unfiltered experience that unfolds inside his mind and body. That moment is often the first intimate night. The world presents it as a celebration, as a milestone, as something exciting and triumphant. Society paints it as proof of masculinity, proof of confidence, proof of being enough. But for many men, that night doesn't feel like a celebration at all. Instead, it feels like silent pressure pressing down on the chest. It feels like responsibility weighing heavily on the shoulders. It feels like standing alone in an invisible test where failure feels unforgivable. What makes this moment even heavier is the silence around it. No one asks a man what he is feeling in that moment. No one asks what fears are racing through his mind. No one tells him that confusion, nervousness, or hesitation are normal. No one tells him that feeling anxious does not mean he is weak. In fact, no one prepares him for the emotional reality of that night. He is simply expected to perform, to be confident, to lead, and to succeed, without showing doubt. Many men approach that first intimate experience as if it were an exam they cannot afford to fail. An exam where their masculinity, self-worth, and identity as a man are all on the line. They believe, consciously or unconsciously, that everything will be judged in that single moment. How he performs, how confident he looks, how in control he appears. And this belief is where the real problem begins. Because the body does not respond well to judgment, the body does not thrive under fear. The body does not cooperate when it feels threatened. When a man turns intimacy into a test, his own nervous system begins to work against him. Instead of relaxation, there is tension. Instead of presence, there is overthinking. Instead of connection, there is pressure. He wants everything to go perfectly. He wants to appear strong and confident. He wants to make sure nothing goes wrong. He wants to avoid embarrassment at all costs. But the more he tries to control the moment, the more distant his body becomes from him. The mind tightens its grip, and the body responds by pulling away. This is not failure. This is biology reacting to stress. What most men don't realize is that the body reads pressure as danger. When the mind is flooded with expectations and fear, the body shifts into protection mode. Blood flow changes. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tighten. Awareness narrows. And in that state, intimacy becomes difficult, not because something is wrong with the man, but because the environment inside him feels unsafe. The tragedy is that many men blame themselves for this reaction. They tell themselves they weren't good enough. They believe something is broken inside them. They carry shame instead of understanding. And that shame often follows them long after the moment has passed. It shapes how they see themselves. It influences future relationships. It creates a silent wound that rarely gets addressed. But the truth is much simpler than most people are willing to admit. Intimacy is not a performance. It is not a competition. It is not a test of worth. It is a shared human experience that requires safety, presence, and emotional permission to be imperfect. When those elements are missing, the body reacts exactly as it was designed to react. Men are rarely taught this. From a young age, they are taught to suppress emotion, to hide fear, to appear confident even when they are uncertain. They learn that vulnerability is dangerous, that hesitation is unacceptable, and that asking questions makes them look weak. By the time they reach that first intimate moment, they are carrying years of unspoken expectations inside them. And yet, if we were honest, nervousness in such a moment is not a flaw. It is proof of care. It is proof that the moment matters. It is proof that the man is human, not mechanical. Confidence does not come from forcing control. It comes from feeling safe enough to let go. When a man understands this, something important shifts. He stops fighting his body and starts listening to it. He stops seeing intimacy as something to conquer and starts seeing it as something to experience. The pressure loosens, the fear softens, and connection becomes possible, not because he tried harder, but because he finally allowed himself to be present. The real issue is not the body. The real issue is the story men are told about what that moment is supposed to mean. When that story changes, the experience changes too. When a man realizes that his worth is not measured in a single night, his nervous system calms. When he understands that uncertainty does not make him less of a man, his confidence grows naturally. When he allows himself to be human, his body follows. Very few people talk about this truth openly. Fewer still are willing to challenge the expectations placed on men. But acknowledging this reality can change how men experience intimacy for the rest of their lives. It can replace shame with understanding. It can replace fear with self-compassion, and it can turn a moment once filled with pressure into one filled with connection. The truth is simple, even if it feels uncomfortable. A man does not fail when his body reacts to pressure. He fails only when he believes the lie that he was never allowed to be human in the first place.